What's up, Drop Pod listeners? You can check out new episodes of the Drop Podcast every Tuesday and Thursday, wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find all of our content on YouTube at the Drop Golf Podcast and on our socials. That's Instagram and Twitter at the Drop_pod. No matter how you consume us, like, subscribe, rate, review, all that good stuff. Follow and listen along.
This episode is brought to you by George Wall Ford. George Wall Ford in Red Bank, New Jersey is family owned and operated, proudly serving New Jersey residents with superior customer service since 1960. Rye, share your story about your experience there.
Mike, I went on a tangent in one of our episodes previously about it, but I can't say enough good things about George Wall Ford. I needed a new car. I had an old. I loved the brand that I had. I loved, it was an SUV, but had 165,000 miles on it. It was just time, So I hopped on over to George Wall Ford. I saw our guy Jerry, and Jerry and his team were awesome. I mean, from stem to stern, they're there, they're helping, they're knowledgeable. They have so many cars on the lot that you can go in and say, hey, I want a sunroof, a navigation. I want this kind of rims on it. I want this kind of this, that, and the other thing. There's a great chance that they have that car with all your specs, the color, all that thing. Me, I didn't particularly care. I was like, hey, I want to be high up in the car, right? I need an SUV. I'm a big guy. I got a dog. I got golf clubs. I got beach chairs in the summer. I need something that's a little more rugged, a little more. Again, I like to be higher in my car. And I went and saw Jerry. He pointed me in the right direction. And again, it's awesome to have that kind of help and support from your salesman to the finance guy to even they got somebody who helps you set up your car, right? I got an app on my phone now that's got my auto start on it. I can locate my car if I don't know where it is. I could take a trip to Japan if I wanted to and be like, did I lock my car? And I can go into the app and lock my car. So even people helping you set up that stuff, just the hands-on approach over there is incredible. So if you need a car, head on over to George Wall. And go ask for Jerry. They were awesome there. Again, stem to stern from everybody. I can't say enough good things about it. It was an unbelievable experience.
So to Ryan's point, there isn't a better place to shop for a brand new car. Just call 732-704-1932 and ask for Jeremy Wall. George Wall Ford in Red Bank for all your car buying needs. This is the Drop Podcast where we talk golfing in the Garden State. I'm Mike Poro, and this is Ryan Kulat.
What's up, Drop Pod people? Welcome back to Interview Thursday. Mike and we got Mike back for this week on this one. We have our guest for today, as you heard on Tuesday's episode, is Donte Groppuso. Donte is the 2024 Met Amateur Champion. And a little bit, quick background of Donte. Donte is from New York. So if you're going to say, oh, you're not doing New Jersey guys anymore. First off, we all know that like the metropolitan area is part of our kind of area, right? You telling me that like if I go play Bethpage, I can't talk about it on this? No, I'm absolutely going to. So, that's the first thing. Second thing, okay, you want to be that guy. He won it he won the tournament, which is at Somerset Hills, which is in New Jersey. So there we go. We can keep talking about him. It was really cool having Donte on. He's got a great story about stopping golf for a year, only to come back on fire, basically, with where he is now, and obviously the field that he takes down in this and going through. Mike, I thought we did a nice job going through all of his people because he went through an absolute gauntlet of competitors,
dudes
that he's able to beat. Yeah, dudes that as you say can golf their golf ball. Took them all down, and even within, you got the trials and tribulations of each match there. I thought it was really interesting. I thought a gripping interview and hearing the story about it. So make sure you stick around for our interview here with Donte because it's really an interesting one.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the names he takes down. If you're familiar in the Met area when it comes to names of golfers that like particularly do very well, he takes them all down and doesn't take them down bad. It's not beatings. it's all the way down to the nitty gritty. And I think the stories that he was sharing, especially about having his brother on the bag, was kind of cool because it brings that sense of family into the whole thing. And,
So cool.
it was just, yeah, so good. And it's fitting because last week we had Eric Lafonte on from Somerset Hills. He kind of talked a little bit about that. You got Donte on this week who won at Somerset Hills. So I think it's a matter of time before the Drop Podcast visits Somerset Hills.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get up there. We're gonna have to make that in some way, shape, or form. We're gonna have to get up to that course. I mean, I don't know if I really want to. I've heard not great things about it, but I guess we're just gonna have to get it.
Well, you can stay home that
In
day. I'll let you know how it is.
in case no one could pick up the sarcasm, it's constantly in the top 3 of golf courses here in New Jersey, and even Donte mentions that how special of a place it was, that location, the people on staff there. It was, yeah. I'm really looking forward to get there. That's a bucket list kind of place. So without further ado, we're going to send you to our interview with Donte. Hope you enjoy. Cheers.
So today's guest, we got another special one here. When you're talking winners win, we've been fortunate to just be able to get one winner after another on this podcast. And I guess let's keep that train going. Today's guest is the 122nd Met Amateur Champion, Donte Groppuso. Donte, thank you so much for coming on today's show.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, looking forward to it, Donte.
Yeah, I mean, I
Quite a
think
win.
a big time win. And I think our audience needs a little education on who you are, because I know for a lot of what Ryan and I do, it's strictly golfing in the Garden State, and we like to highlight all things here, whether it's an amateur, director of golf, anybody that can play the game. You're a little bit outside our barriers in a sense, but you played at a golf course that Ryan and I are itching to get on, and we've been able to connect with some people. We just haven't been able to get the right dates. And I think recapping your win at the Met Amateur at a special venue here in New Jersey is important because I think you also took down a lot of New Jersey guys along the way. So before we dive deep into the whole tournament itself, why don't you give the audience a little bit about you, where you grew up, how you got into the game to kind of where you are today?
Yeah, so I grew up in Kingston, New York. Grew up actually playing baseball a lot. My dad was a big baseball player, and my little brother plays baseball. So we're a baseball family. Brought me to a 9-hole course when I was probably about 8, 9. 9-hole course, 12 skill. It's also in Kingston. And kind of just fell in love with the game a little bit there. Kept playing it all the way to 7th grade. And then at 7th grade, you have to make a decision because I went to Kingston High School, public school. Golf is actually in the spring. I know most schools have it in the fall. So it interfered with baseball. And my dad was the head baseball coach at our school, and I kind of had to break the news to him, like, hey, I don't want to play baseball anymore. I kind of want to play golf. And
Man.
yeah, it was a big step. My mom was definitely nervous for me. I was a little nervous too, but I'll never forget. I remember he looked back at me and he told me, if you're going to choose that, I'm with you all the way. Just work as hard as possible. And kind of kept playing through high school. And then my graduation year was actually COVID. So I lost my senior year, had some things happen in my life, and I actually ended up quitting golf. I quit golf for about a year and a half and didn't really want to play anymore. Wasn't in the right mind frame for it. Dad asked me to go out and play one time, and at this time, all my friends kept playing. They kept asking me. I was like, no, I don't want to play anymore. Like, I'm good. Ended up shooting 72 at the course I'm at now, Wiltwick, and kind of like realized, I was like, that's a pretty good score for not playing a year and a half. And I really had nothing else going on. And
that's a pretty good score for playing every day for a year and a half.
Yeah. So it was kind of like a sign, I treated it like a sign, like maybe you should get back into it, because I was just going to go to school, and I did miss it a little bit, but I don't know. So I got back into it, and never heard back from a college coach because I didn't play that whole year was COVID, and didn't play that whole year. So I sent emails out to a bunch of schools. No one got back to me, and the first school I was at was actually St. Thomas Aquinas, which is a little outside. It's right on the border of New Jersey. He got back to me. One of his kids actually did not pass the English test from France, so a spot opened up for me, and he ended up taking me in. Yeah, and the rest is kind of history. Kind of just fell in love with the game so much. worked as hard as possible, and then had 2 good years there. One as a team, the Super Regional the first year, and then I won it as an individual the second year. Put my name in the portal, and now I'm here at Florida Southern, and I love it so much.
I just it's what you hear about in like in the major sports, football, basketball. Like people go, they start off at somewhere smaller and then prove that they can do it and go somewhere else. That's quite a journey. I can't believe that you took a year and a half off from golf and just were like, nah, I'm
Yeah.
good, and then picked it back up just where you left off.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I mean, a lot of people couldn't believe I quit because I just loved the game so much. But like I said, I just one of my best friends passed away, so it was kind of like a whole like just completely just like my mindset was just not in the right frame. And
Yeah,
but
I'm
everything
sorry to
happens
hear
for a
that.
reason. Yeah, I appreciate that. But yeah,
Is
everything happens for a reason. So.
Do you feel like you like in that year and a half, like do you feel like you got rid of bad habits that you had before? Like did it kind of springboard you to be a better golfer after taking so much time off?
Yeah, because my mindset was if I'm gonna get back into this, I'm gonna do it all the way. Like I'm not gonna like half-ass hit. I'm just gonna go all in, and that's something I really pride myself in is my work ethic. Because I was one of those kids that never got recruited. Not many people believed in me other than my dad and my mom. And yeah, that really like fueled me a lot. There'd just be a lot of kids around me, like great players from Jersey, and there's a lot of great players from New York and Connecticut, and I would see them succeed, and I was never really seeing that. But yeah, now when I really had that mindset to go all in, it really just pushed me a lot. So
I think it puts things in perspective. I think that's
mhm.
ultimately what it does for young kids is like, okay, at the end of the day, it is just golf.
Mhm.
And there's some things that are bigger in life. And then when you go out there, you're not stressing out about pulling one left or missing one right or
Yep,
leaving one in the trap because this thing could be gone tomorrow. And I think
exactly.
it's unfortunate and
Mhm.
it sucks. I totally agree, but I also think you can learn from anything that goes on, and I think that's a valuable lesson that someone like you at a young age was
Yeah.
able to use and then apply it. So I
Mhm.
think that's a credit to you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
It's summertime, the perfect time to get that new boat you've been dreaming about. Comstock Yacht Sales, your trusted local boating source since 1973, now has 2 locations. Visit their new sales center in Seabright. In addition to their original 50-year-old family business in Brick, Comstock is the largest dealer for Grady White boats, offering 22 models to suit every size and budget. Stop by either location any day of the week to explore their impressive Grady lineup tailored to meet your family's needs. Don't forget, check out their full inventory of new and pre-owned boats online anytime at comstockyachtSales.com. Get your Grady today. But let's get into the good stuff. I think, listen, I am a golf nerd through and through. I am one of those people that refresh the big time tournaments all the time and vicariously live through all you guys, whether
Yeah.
you're a young kid or a 40-year-old senior citizen, as I was told on our last interview. That's kind of how I am.
Mhm.
And I think when you got to Somerset Hills and the tournament began, let's kind of start here in the beginning. Had you have seen the golf course prior to that tournament at all?
I did not. No, I did
Did you
not.
play a practice round?
I did. I played a practice round Sunday. Yep.
And then so going into the whole thing,
Mhm.
what was your goal? I mean, being a person who's for the first time playing in the Med Am, like most people, if I can go back and date the records, but like most people don't win it the first
Mhm.
time they actually play
Mhm.
it, let alone like get through to match play. You went through every single step. So like when you're teeing it up in the first round, is the goal to win the damn thing, or is it to like let's get to match play? Or what is your mindset when you tee that first ball up?
Well, I wasn't really playing a lot this summer. I was caddying a lot at Waikiko Country Club, which is in New Rochelle. But obviously, I had the mindset I wanted to win. But the real goal was to make match play. It was to make match play. And I had my brother on the bag, my little brother. Never had him on the bag before. So, yeah, it wasn't, it should have been to win. but it was to make match play. I'll be honest. It was to make match play. That was my goal. And once we did that, the rest was just all about having fun because I never played match play before, like in an actual tournament. So the rest was just all about having fun with my little brother, really enjoying the moment and just taking one shot at a time.
Yeah, when I looked at those 2 rounds, obviously you didn't have to worry about the playoff, and that always the playoff to get that last spot or those 2 spots available are always a little tight, a little
Yeah.
gut wrenching, and the fact that you got in without having to worry about that, is definitely like a sigh of relief, more or less. And when your goal is just to get in, now that the Friday comes and you have the round of 16 starting. Like, what is your expectation going against Josh? Because Josh won the damn thing last year.
Yeah.
And he's another good player.
Yeah. I actually had no idea that he won because I never really, like I said, I never played in the Medium.
Mm-hmm.
So I have no idea that he won until like
Did
they
you know who he
announced him.
was?
No, not really. They announced it on the first tee, like 2023 Medium champion. I'm like, okay, I'm like, all right, here we go. I'm playing the Medium champion. Let's go. I'm like, it's going to be fun. Like, why not? Yeah, Josh was a great guy. He was great etiquette, great player, great player. He didn't play the best when I played him, but you could tell he was all around just a great player.
Yeah, and I think the theme for me when I was watching the results as these things were going on, you won a lot of close matches, and it wasn't like you were blowing anybody away. You weren't wiping the floor with people. You always found a way to get it done. And I think that first match was a prime example of what the rest of the tournament ended up being like for you. Because, when I looked at the scores, like if on a stroke play side, I believe Josh even had a lower number than you. But when it comes to match play, that's all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
Winning one up against Josh in that opening round, did you say like, okay, wow, all right, I can really now maybe run the table. My game's maybe coming back. Like after beating him, what was the mentality?
Like I'll go backtrack a little bit.
Okay.
After the practice round, I've won a couple big tournaments like in college and stuff, like obviously the regional, and you can just like it's almost like when you get on a course, you just know that it's like really fitting and something like special might happen. You just got to put it together. And when I actually played in the practice round, on 16, I actually like lipped out a hole in one, and that was the hole in the whole tournament that changed every single match for me. So when I got up to 16, I was 1 down. I kind of just like trusted that this was my hole, and almost hit a hole in one again. And then really just after walking off 18, winning, it was almost like the biggest confidence booster. Like if I can beat this guy, I have a great chance of beating anyone in this. Like he won this last year, and he beat a lot of great players last year. After looking at the results after I won, I was like, damn, he beat a lot of good players. And then, it was just full confidence after that.
Yeah, because when I watched that first match, for someone like me, that I recognize the names, I know what the history is, I kind of see what they do. And when Josh was 1 up with 3 to go on you, I said, okay, it's a guy like him. No offense, I don't know who you are. I don't know your background. I said, okay, he'll figure it out. But then to your point, you winning the next 2 holes and then closing him out on 18, I was like, okay, like that just goes to prove in match play, like anything can happen.
Yeah.
So beating him, I thought was like, okay, well, we got to like, for someone like me, I'm keeping my eye on you now. Like, all right, because now, you go play against a New Jersey guy, Chris DeJean. We know Chris. We've sat down with Chris. We went up to Arcola and met Chris. Like, another stud golfer in our area. He might be more. He's a stud.
Off on the tee box. And then they're like, "This is the 2022-2023 Mid-Am champion."
Yeah, he's a stud. Like that might be the downfall to Chris is he's a mid-am, but like that dude can flat out golf his golf ball.
Oh my gosh, his putting is unreal.
Yeah, well,
unreal.
He plays at one of the courses that have the fastest greens, I think, probably in the state of New Jersey at Arcola. But
unbelievable his putting.
Going up against him, gotta think though your confidence is high because I think how those last few holes ended against Josh had to put you in a mindset of like, you know what, I'm playing well. I think I can figure this out. What was it like playing Chris?
Yeah, I mean, I knew that he was going to be tough after that first couple holes because I saw a short game. I was like, all right, if this guy's not hitting the ball well, he's still going to make pars and he's going to grind for a bogey.
A
And
guy
maybe,
like with his game is
yeah,
never out of a hole,
yeah,
right?
I was like, he's
Yeah.
never going to be out of the hole. So my mindset with him was honestly stamina. I'm down in Florida now, so I'm playing like today was 99, feels like 105, and I'm out there for like 3-4 hours. Like I feel like I had an advantage with stamina a little bit. I could sort of tell like when he started making bogeys, he was getting a little tired. So my little brother, he just looked at me. He was like, "All right, come on, now we go." He was like, "Now we go. Let's make some pars, make some birdies. Let's just focus on one shot at a time." And that was kind of the mindset with him. Just trying to never get out of it. Just drinking like simple stuff, drinking a lot of water, staying hydrated because it gets tiring after that next match because you grind that first match. And I know he grinded it. I think he won it on 18 too.
He won one up as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So like,
I'm looking at it right now. That's the only
yeah,
reason I know.
we both grinded for those matches. So I know that we were both tired. And so I just tried to give it the rest, like give it my all the rest of the match. And I think that's what kind of separated us a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, listen, I thought when I looked at the results, more or less, like I thought that was, if you want to say your, biggest butt whoop, like yeah, okay, maybe you did beat him 3-2, but just looking at it, it seemed to like you made a lot of birdies in that match. Is that
Mhm.
is that a fair assessment?
Yeah.
Yeah. Seeing you get through Chris, I was like, again, for me, I'm looking at it like, all right, he's taking down another named
Mhm.
guy, especially in our area. And then you get to the next day, right? And this for me, which is one of the things why I wanted to get you on, because you're playing against Jack Chung, another kid who just won another tournament at
I
the Met
saw that.
Junior.
Yeah. I saw the match and I was like, yeah, here we go again.
So to me, I'm like, this is like, the little guy constantly taking down the big guy, the big name, the guy who just won something. Just when you tee it up against Jack, I mean, you've got to be thinking, all right, like I got to take down another monster. What was the thought process when you went up against Jack?
I mean, it was the same mindset as Josh, and I mean, I took it no differently. Just because he was young, I didn't take it any differently. I mean, that kid just won the Met Junior. I mean, you got to beat some talented juniors to win that, and he beat Colin, who's like a great player. And when I saw him beat Colin, I was kind of like, "Whoa, like this kid's kind of legit." And then after the first couple of holes, he didn't play good the first two holes, but then he started like finding a rhythm. And I looked at my little brother and I was like, this kid is never going to go away. He's never going to go away. And he was like, I was just like, we're going to have to grind this out. And luckily came out on top again um, with that birdie putt on 18.
But
Yeah,
even before that, 16, to your earlier point, was another turning point in that match.
yeah.
Because when I was following along, I had won 4 holes on the back 9 there.
Hmm.
And he had all the momentum. Everything was going his way. Talk a little bit about what transpired on 16 there, because I see again you made birdie going into
Yeah.
that hole, and obviously, he doubled it, but whatever the case ends up being, you won the hole. What was that momentum change like?
Yeah. So, I mean, that green on 16, it slopes from left to right. So, pretty much if you're above the hole left, the pin was front right. So, if you're above the hole left, you're done. And he actually flew his ball into the bunker. So once I saw that, I knew that like par was like almost a birdie. It was like so hard to get a par, and he hit. So I just swung to the middle of the green, put a great 9 iron on again, and then he actually hit a great bunker shot, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's gonna be like so good. He's gonna have like 8 feet, but like he was making them all day. Ended up rolling over the green, going down. Then he actually hit his third shot and it hit the pin and then bounced back all the way to him,
Oh my
like
god!
all the way to him.
Oh.
And then I was like, wow, that's like it almost flew in. I was like, that's crazy. So then he went up, tried to chip it again, then gave me the putt, and then we were all square going to 17. Both missed our birdie putts, and then yeah, 18 was a lot of fun.
Man, that is a swing of events right there.
It
Yeah,
really
it
is.
was. It was like yeah. I after that happened, I looked at my brother and I was like, this game's all about momentum. That's all it is. This match play is all about momentum.
So not only did you take down those two guys, but you said Jack was playing well, and he just coming off a win at the Met Junior. He was also runner-up in the Connecticut Amateur as well, like right before that too.
Was he?
So yeah, again, I haven't pulled up in front of me here, so he's on. You've now taken down 3 guys who were just like great golfers and playing good golf too. So Mike talked before about your momentum. Like, did you feel at this point that something special was brewing,
Yeah.
especially with him hitting the flag stick and rolling back? Like, you caught a break there, and you got to feel like this is, you don't want to use destiny yet, but like you got to feel something special's brewing here.
Yeah, I mean, I just kept going back to the other matches, and I just kept, 16 was like I won 16 against Josh, so that was a momentum changer, and I didn't even have to putt it, so that was even better. And then with Chris, that match ended on 16, and then after that again, I'm just like, I looked at him, I was my little brother, I'm like, yo, we're in the same spot again, let's go. I'm like, come on, like we could be out of it, but we're not. Let's go. And it's not like you're not getting nervous or anything. It's more just like I can do this. Like this is like I can do this.
Yeah,
Just got to get to the 16th hole.
Yeah, literally. No, literally, it was crazy.
If Donte ever answers his favorite hole and it's not 16,
Gosh,
there's
it's
something
16,
wrong with
that's
him.
Somerset. I'll
There's
never
something
forget
wrong
that
with
one.
him.
What a hole.
I'd say I need to question that. And then, you take down Jack, and then you get to the finals. And, the finals is no joke. It's 36 holes. And that's on top of all the other things that go on. And you guys play the first 18 holes. And I'm watching Christian, and I know Christian is an absolute stud. Okay, he's a stick in our area, like in the Met area. His name is always up top. Such a laid back, calm dude. What was it like playing him? Because I know he gets off to an unbelievable start in that front 9, where he's playing really good golf, and you didn't. And he's basically, when I'm looking at this, he's 4 up after the first 9 holes, and I literally said, I'm like, all right, he's going to wipe the floor with this guy.
Yeah.
Like, he's been there. He hasn't gotten over the edge yet, but he's had a taste of this.
Mm-hmm.
What was your mentality like after that front 9?
So, before me and my brother are just hanging out that night before the match. And at this point, I'm pretty nervous. This is big. This is a big thing. I've never been in this position other than in college. Never really had like summer experience like with these tournaments in this. And I know Christian was a great player, just beat Jack Wall, who I know is really good. And I was nervous. And, my brother he said, this, like, we've made it this far. Like, there's nothing to be nervous about, man. Your goal was match play, and you have grinded it. You played some incredible golf. Like I'm proud of you. Like, let's just go have fun tomorrow. Let's just go have fun. And whatever happens, happens. Like, we made it this far. There's nothing you can get upset about. And I remember being on the 9th hole and making a bad bogey for him to go 4 up, like, awful. And I remember just looking at Gavin, my little brother, and just, like, laughing. Like, we were just smiling, and I'm like, that sucked, didn't it? Like, that was bad. And we're just laughing, and he's like, yeah, it sucked. And, like, we're just having fun. And my brother, one thing about my brother is he doesn't know golf that well, so, like, he keeps it real. Like, he's like, yeah, that was a shitty shot, bro. Yeah, that was not good. And sometimes I'm like, I don't want to hear that. But sometimes I just start laughing. I'm like, you know what? It's just a game. He kind of puts it in perspective. It's just a game. And, we just had a lot of fun. That was like my mindset with Christian. Like me and my little brother had a lot of fun. And then when I was 4 down, and then I won 10, I was like, okay. Then I won 11, and I was like, okay. But then I lost 12, and I was like, like that kind of stung. And then he kind of started losing a little momentum. I was starting to win with some pars. We were both pretty tired. And then, because it was hot, it was like brutal there. And then, I think I won 4 up on the back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we finished all square, and I was like, wow. I was like, that pretty good mindset that we just had, Gav. I was like, let's go.
Yeah. And you lost your whole 16, if you think about it too, which is kind of crazy that how good 16 has been to you. So because I see when you were down 4, and I was like, okay, I literally chalked it up. I said, it's over with. I'm starting to pitch my DM to Christian to get him on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But then I go and I'm refreshing the back 9, and I see you get hot, and I'm like, all right, he's winning some holes, momentum's going. You then end the first 18 all square. Like you're dead tied, you're ready to go into the back, the second 18, because for the audience, if you don't know, it's a 36 hole final. Okay. It's not just 18 holes and it's not sudden death after that. So they got to go another 18 on top of everything going on. It's obviously sweltering out there. The course is as hard as it comes. You go to tee it up on that second 18. What's a time frame from when you finish the round to when you tee it up? Like, do you stop and have lunch? Are you going right into it? Are you going to the range and hitting balls? Like, what is that time frame like for you?
Yeah, we actually finished a little earlier. Like we kind of played kind of fast, so we actually got a little more time. I'm pretty, if I remember correctly, we got a little more time. So we got to eat. I didn't eat much. I think I ate a salad. Kind of just hung out with my family and kind of just ate something light because I didn't want to go back into the second 18 in the heat like with a full stomach. Um, so yeah, and then the mindset was kind of the same thing. Like after I was just reminiscing on the front nine, like I was four down. Now I'm even. Like we're here. Like and then Gavin was like, yeah, like let's go. He was like, no more like having fun. Like let's go. We're here and let's do this. So that was a lot of fun. I mean, hit the range a little bit and then yeah, second 18 started and that was when it was really go time. So
Yeah, I mean that, and then when you go through, because I like to break it down in nines. When I go through the front nine, he won a few holes early, you won a few holes late, and then the match is dead square with 9 holes to go, and it's like, all right, now, again for me, I'm refreshing that thing, seeing like what's going on. I'm checking the feeds, I'm checking the stories, I'm
yeah.
trying to stay afloat in terms of what's going on. As you get to the 10th hole, and it's dead tied, is the thought process in your head saying, I just got to get the 16. I just got to get the 16 because if I'm somewhere in play here, like I'm going to win this damn thing.
Yeah, it actually was. It really was. Yeah. And that was like my brother's mindset too, Yeah, it's funny how that works. It's just you're not playing for the nine, you're only playing for like 7 holes. You're like, just let me get to 16, please, please, or 6 holes. You just please.
Yeah, well, I mean, when it's been as good as it has been to
Yeah,
you, I can probably see that same mindset because you have the first 5 holes on the back nine. Like
yep.
it's just half, half, half.
Hmm.
And then he wins 15 to go one up with 3 to go. And I think this is where I get very interesting. It gets very, it's intriguing to me, like to hear what happens because the rain delay comes. He's one up, and you still have to play 17 and 18, correct?
Yes.
And it's not a rain delay where it's 5, 10, 15 minutes. We're talking 3 hours, correct?
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's nearly 4 hours if my recollection was right.
Yep. 3 hours and 40 minutes.
Okay, so there you go. So you're sitting around for freaking 4 hours. You're one down and you have 2 holes to go.
Well, no. So we were all square. We were we're on 14 and he hits his shot on the green. And
Okay.
I'm waiting to hit my shot because I'm a little closer. I have like a 60-yard shot, and I'm getting ready to hit it, and the horn goes off. So he was on the green. I still have to hit a shot when we come back out. So we were all square at that point. But when we came back out, we end up tying 14. We both make pars, and then 15. Yeah, we go back out in 15.
Okay, so he wins 15
Yeah,
going back out. So that's
yeah,
where he goes one up.
yeah,
And then, okay, you have your famous hole 16, but you got there. So
yeah.
you're one down going into 17.
Hmm.
Like, what are you thinking like on 17? Like, is it like I'm taking dead aim at the pin? Am I crossing my fingers he makes a mistake or he 3 putts? Like, you're on 17's tee. You got 2 holes left. You're one down. He wins the whole thing's over. What are you thinking about, like, on more or less that 35th hole?
Yeah, I was really just trying to hit the ball like one shot. When I say one shot at a time, like I am not worried about anything else in the world except for me over that ball and just putting the best swing I can on it. Wherever it goes, it goes. I can make birdie from wherever I want. That's my mindset. I can make birdie from anywhere. So let's just put a good swing on it, hit a good shot, and I actually got kind of screwed with the lie. It was in the rough, but they didn't mow like that one part of the rough. So it was like sitting up, but it was like kind of like fescue a little bit, but not fescue. I hit it so good. And I'm like, oh my gosh, please be good. And it flies to the green. And usually it would have bounced over the green because they were playing so firm. But since it rained, it just stopped right on the fringe. Yeah, he actually hit his shot down the middle, missed left of the green, chipped it to 10 feet, missed his putt. I made a 3-footer, and now we're all square going into 18.
And then you get on 18's tee box. You have all the momentum. He's got to be getting a little tight here.
Yeah.
Just made a bogey from the middle of the fairway on more or less his 35th hole. And you're on the 36th hole. And he's gotten close a few times, and he hasn't been able to get over the hump, which I can only imagine how nervous people are on that tee box. You get on that 36th hole, the 18th hole. What are you thinking about here?
I am literally just trying to put the ball anywhere on planet Earth. That's good. But I mean, I don't think I've ever been that nervous. Never. I was literally just trying to stick to my routine as much as possible. I mean, one practice swing, I do a little one practice swing, and then deep breath, set up, go. And I did hit a good shot. Actually finally hit the fairway on that hole. I didn't hit it at all. And he actually hit the fairway too, but his ball ended up in a divot. So, and they were playing really soft. And he went first. He had to obviously get steep on it, and he landed it pin high. And I was like, dang, it's a good shot. And then it spun off the front of the green. So then at this point, I'm just like, I just got to hit this 15 to 20 feet. Let's just put a good wedge shot on. Let's not overthink it. It was kind of funny. Like, it's so crazy, like where your mind goes in those moments, because it almost felt like I was on the range, like at my home course. That's how I try to picture. I'm just like, hey, I'm on the range at my home course. Hit this shot 1,000 times. There's nothing different. And I think that mindset kind of really put everything in perspective and calmed everything down. And yeah, I put a good swing on it. I had I think 10, 12 feet. And then he put a good chip on it. I think he had 6 feet. And yeah, I'd never been that nervous over a putt either. I was shaking. I literally looked at my brother. I'm like, dude, I have never been this nervous in my life. And he's like, dude, quit it, dude. He's like, let's go. He's like, you have it right here. He's like, make this putt. I ended up missing it. But then, at this point, Christian's been making them all day. Walk off the green, just standing next to my brother. I just thank him. I'm like, whatever happens, thank you, man.
Was your putt good?
Yes.
So you knew that it was make or miss for him on this 6-footer he had left.
And me and Gavin are like, I'm like, you think he makes it? We're like whispering to him, you think he makes it? You think he makes it? And Gavin's like, yeah, I think he makes it. He's been making them all day. And I'm like, yeah, me too. So at this point, we're getting ready for the playoff. My mindset's now we got to get ready for this playoff. And he ended up missing it. And yeah, it was from there. It was just like a dream come true. It's just I kind of blacked out. I was kind of like, what's going on? Did I actually just win this? It was especially after the rain delay, kind of because you have so much adrenaline going, and then it's just 3.5 hours of just nothing. It's you're back to life. You're your life's on a golf course, and then 3.5 hours, you're just back to real life. And it's just kind of.
I can only imagine what your phone must have been like after winning an event like this, because from the outside, I recognize how big of a tournament this is. You see the names, you've seen the history, the whole nine. For someone like you that's never played in it, and then you go and win it, after you get home that night and you're sitting down, whether it's eating dinner with your family or just laying in bed before you go to bed, what is it? Are you kind of slapping yourself a little bit? Did I really just do that? I just won one of the biggest tournaments in our area.
Yeah.
What's that like when you're laying in bed?
Yeah, I was honestly, the next morning I went down and I just stared at the trophy. And I looked at my dad, and my dad started laughing at me. He's like, it doesn't feel real, does it? I'm like, it goes so fast. That moment, I wish you could just slow it down. I've won some other tournaments, and it always goes so fast, no matter how many times you try and slow it down. It's next thing you know, you're waking up in your bed, and it's back to the grind. It's why can't I just enjoy it a little more? But yeah, I didn't believe it was real. I mean, I had to leave for school 3 days later, but I only spent limited time at the trophy. But yeah, I couldn't believe it was a dream come true.
And
so the trophy's still at home?
It's still at home. The MGA's picking it up in November. Okay. So my parents
and then your name will be engraved on it?
Yeah, they're actually building. So they haven't had a name on it since 2015 or something like that, because there's no room left. So they're building like a base.
Another layer.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. And then what was your overall take on Somerset Hills? Obviously, being a guy that was able to spend a lot of time there, you had a lot of success. So I can't imagine that you don't like the place, because we clearly know that the 16th hole is your favorite hole in the entire world. But like, what was your take from an outsider coming into a special spot in here in New Jersey? What was your take about the golf course?
I mean, it was probably one of the best designs I've ever played. I love Tillinghast. Like he is amazing. The course I caddy at's Tillinghast, Crenshaw. I mean, he does a fantastic job. Um, and the condition of the course was just amazing. Greens were really firm, like so firm. Like you had to land balls like 20 yards short. And it was just a different test of golf, and I kind of embraced it. I was like, let's have fun with this. This is fun. Like, you don't get to play many courses like this. And it's kind of like two tails, like the front nine's like really open and kind of linksy. And then you get to the back, and it's like its own world. And it's just, I can't thank the MGA enough for picking that course. That was awesome. The staff at Somerset, I mean, they put on a fantastic job, and they were all the nicest guys in the world. They really cared. You could tell they cared a lot. So I really appreciate them.
I want to go back to the tournament for a second, because I got a question about this rain delay. You had a salad for the in-between. What are we eating during the rain delay?
I ate dinner because they told us that it was going to be a long time.
Okay.
They were like, this is going to be a while. So I had dinner.
It's a fitting question for you, big fella. That's a fitting question, because I knew you didn't like his salad question. I know you didn't like his salad answer. I had a salad. That's not eating anything.
Yeah. So, yep, I ate. Yeah, I wasn't worried about it. Just ate and hung out. One of my old teammates was there. I was hanging out with him. FaceTime with my girlfriend. My parents were there. My little brother was there. So I was just enjoying having dinner with them.
And how much time do you get to warm up after the rain delay? Like again, they say, okay, we're going to go off in 20 minutes again. Is it just like as soon as we're good, we're going, or do they give you 20 minutes to hit balls again?
Yeah, well, they gave us some time. They gave us I think 15 minutes, but it was getting late.
Dark.
Yeah, it's getting late. So they were like, all right, let's go. Like, you warm up, get ready, but let's go.
Do your stretching now, because we're going to go out. We'll hit, and then you'll go. Yeah. And you got to go through your whole routine at that point. Like, is nearly 4 hours. Are you doing all of your pre-tournament stretching, or is it more modified? Like, let's just loosen up a little bit.
Well, I'm like stretching, getting my body loose again, but I only have 4 holes left, and I know I played the course so much already. I know what I'm going to hit into the holes. So I'm focusing on those clubs. Like off the tee, like I'm teeing up a 4-iron for 15. I hit the 4-iron off the tee on the range, and I'm hitting 9 or 8-iron, whatever I have in. And then I'm hitting a lot of wedges, because 18 is a wedge, 17 is a wedge, and I was hitting a lot of 9-irons because 16 is always a 9-iron. So I was really you played the course before, so I was.
So that's a good way to get to. I wouldn't have thought of that. I mean, maybe if I'm there doing it, but right now I didn't think that would be how you would.
Yeah, because I only had 1 driver left, so I wasn't really focused on driver. I only hit it a couple times, and you weren't really allowed to hit driver there, so like on the range.
Well, so. That makes it tough to hit driver if they don't allow you to hit it. And then where you're from in New York is pretty far north, if I'm not mistaken, north of West Point, correct?
Yeah, I think 45 minutes to an hour.
So are you driving that every day back and forth for 4 straight days?
Or you stay down? Yeah, we stayed. Yep.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a little more expensive just because it's when match play. You don't know if you're going to be there the next day, so you're kind of booking the hotel at the latest price. But it was all worth it. My dad took care of it.
Good, yeah.
It was good about it.
That kind of logistics stuff kind of interests me, because it's just like, do you make a little trip out of it, or are you just putting miles on the car?
Yeah, it was kind of funny. We actually were kind of superstitious. So we ate at Ruby Tuesdays, which was attached to the hotel, every single night. We ate there every single night. And by the time we were about to throw up by the last night, we were like, yeah. My dad and brother were like, you better win this tomorrow, dude.
If I never see another salad bar.
Exactly.
That's great. Now we're going into our senior year at Florida Southern. And listen, I appreciate you coming on today. I wish you the best of luck there. And I hope that, you continue all this amazing success. And I can't thank you enough for coming on today's show.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. And thank you for the wishing well. So I appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Yeah, for sure, Donte. It was a pleasure, and best of luck moving forward here.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun. Thank you.